How's it going, everyone? And welcome to today's review of Once and Future number 20. Now, I know that I have not done any reviews for Once and Future before, so if you're here and you haven't read any of the past things, this is going to be very confusing. So let me know if you want a quick update of what's been going on in Once and Future, and then come back to this video, right? Um, yeah, just don't be afraid to send me a message on Instagram or a comment here on YouTube or Spotify. I think Anchor has voice messages as well. So, reach out as best as you can, and I can definitely do that. But Once and Future number 20 right now, a lot is going on, and it's just really meshing on into one big story. Um, it looks like the people in the retirement home where Bridget was staying, they're moving out and going into the Grail Castle. We have King Arthur. And this is how I separate them. We have Dark King Arthur, who has been the main antagonist so far, and Light King Arthur, which just showed up, I think, 2 issues ago. And they've come face to face in the battlefield. They don't actually fight, but Dark King Arthur raises an army of dead, and that's his way of showing that um, the land is behind him. And then, like King Arthur, sends Lancelot, one person, against this army, and Lancelot just demolishes everybody. Then we have Duncan, Bridget, and Rose checking out the Grail Castle, making sure that there aren't any dangers inside for these retirement home people. And while there, they have like a little fight. Um, Things are said that maybe shouldn't have been said, but needed to be said. Um, and that happens. After that, they fix that. They decide they need to go to help Rose's parents. She wants to go get them from Bath, and that's a whole different obstacle in its own. Uh, and then that's it. That's basically the whole story of this issue. In Bath, they find out that Medusa is there, and so that, like I said, that's its whole other issue. It's a great story. I gave this a 4 out of 5. The art was beautiful as always by Dan Mora. Um, so yeah, definitely check it out, and let me know if you want me to go into further details of what happened prior to this, because there's a lot of things, crazy things happening in this story that you just don't see coming. You can definitely not really pick up on it if you start from issue 20. So let me know. But now I am going to be going into the actual page by page description and just kind of going over my thoughts as I read through the issue. So again, in the beginning of this, you see that the retirement home people and everybody, they're in this truck. They're driving down the road. Duncan's in the back with this bell, which apparently they stole a bell from a church. And every time they ring it, it keeps the fairies away. And the fairies, if you mention their name, if you just say fairies, or if you just make noise, honestly, I'm not 100% sure. Um, they attack. These fairies are vicious. You do not want to run into them, even though Duncan and Bridget are pretty seasoned veterans when it comes to monster hunting. They do not want to come across these fairies. So every time he rings this bell, it keeps these fairies away. So that's how they're traveling from point A to point B. Um, and then we go on to the King Arthurs facing each other, and both have a Merlin. One has a, what's the guy's name? Gallahan, something like that. And then the other one has the Lancelot. Uh, Again, in order to show that he has the land behind him, Dark King Arthur raises the army of the dead, and this does impress the Light King Arthur and the Merlin, and they know that they need to take him out. But honestly, I am lost on where did this guy come from. Like, he came out of nowhere, honestly. And what's he doing? What's his purpose? Does he really want to stop Dark King Arthur? We don't know anything about them and these two Merlins. And the Dark Merlin is acting pretty shady, and he's been shady since he first appeared. But right now he's extra shady in my eyes. Um, Duncan, Bridget, and Rose, they make it to Grail Castle, and while they're in there, they're checking out everything. And Rose mentions, "Hey, by the way, when we're done here, everything's good to go. I do want to go to Bath because my parents are there." And Bridget reacts to that. She's like, "Bath? Like, no, we're not going to Bath. Bath is dangerous. It has its own history on its own. That would just say your goodbyes to your parents. Basically, don't worry about them. Let's focus on us and everyone that we have here. They start getting into a little discussion, and finally Rose blurts out, um, not everyone's daughters wish their mothers to be dead, which is pretty much talking about Duncan's mother, who has tried to kill her, and just really not a great daughter. She's trying to get better. She's trying to be a better mother to her son, but we don't really know her story yet. But that does cut Bridget pretty deep. She kind of goes quiet and walks away. And then at this point, Rose kind of looks at Duncan like, am I wrong or something? And Duncan just shakes his head and walks away and chases after his grandmother. And they have a little sweet heart to heart. And he's like, Rose was off base there, and she's like, no, it is what it is. She's right. Family comes first is basically how they end our conversation. And with that, Duncan's like, yeah, family comes first. So about Rose's parents, and she's like, yeah, okay, let's do this. And he's like, I'm sorry that she hurt your feelings. And she's like, no, she did not hurt my feelings. She was right. I just had to walk away so I wouldn't punch her. And it's just classic Bridget. She's a great character. She's always strong. She rarely shows her emotional sides, but when she does, it's a great scene. Um, then we go back to that battle with the King Arthurs, and Lancelot has demolished the whole army, the army of the dead. He's apparently made out of water. I didn't even get that. Like, I saw that he was bluish, he was kind of liquidy and stuff, but he is made out of water. But he's defeated them, and now Dark Arthur is looking scared of Lancelot, which we have not seen Dark Arthur show anything but pride. Um, think of, if you guys watched Seven Deadly Sins, think of Escanor. Escanor is the sin of pride, and he's just, no matter what goes through with him, he's number one. And so that's what we've seen with King Arthur, is just he is the best. Nothing phases him. But here we see him kind of back down. You see this. Dan Mora drew his face in a kind of scared um, fashion, and then finally, we turn the page, and we're about to the end of it. Bridget, Duncan, and Rose have made it to Bath. They are checking out the town. It looks beautiful. Whenever the other world and our world merged, it kind of brought back like the Rome scene of Bath and its history there. And they're just kind of looking to scope out the land and try to see if they can find her parents. And immediately, at some point, Bridget knocks Duncan's visor out, like, because he's looking through a sniper, and she says, "Don't look, don't look." And then we find out that Medusa. I'm assuming it's Medusa. They never actually say Medusa's name, but I'm assuming it's Medusa because a bunch of people are turning into stone, and Medusa has a bunch of snakes in its hair. So I think it's a pretty good assumption. So that's just another story that we get. We get King Arthur, we get the Green Knight. Now we've had Beowulf, and now we get Medusa in there somewhere. So it's really interesting. I'm really excited to find out what's going on there. Hopefully, Rose's parents haven't succumbed to the curse of Medusa. Honestly, I think that was a good little. It's not really a cliffhanger, but it's a good. Hey, let's find out what happens in the next issue. All right. So this, again, 4 out of 5. Art was amazing. The dark and light Arthur aspect, it's got me having a lot of questions, and they're good questions. They're not more. It's questions for story progression, and not questions of like, this makes no sense, or why is this happening, because it doesn't make sense. These are good, solid questions of, why is light Arthur here? What is his purpose? What does he want to do? What is Dark Arthur going to do when he defeats him? If he defeats him, will he like absorb his powers? What is Merlin up to? I mean, I have a ton of questions. I love the Lancelot scene. That's a great action scene. You didn't even get to see the action, but you got to kind of see the aftermath, and you get a really good sense of how strong Lancelot is. And finally, Rose and Bridget, they constantly are butting heads. I love it because it's kind of like, yeah, we kind of are mad at each other. We hate each other, not really hate, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna risk my life to save yours. They are family, even though Rose Rose and Duncan just kind of started dating, and then they got thrown into the supernatural and whatever hunting life. They pretty much convey that they are family, you know. And at the end of the day, that's great storytelling. So I'm excited for number 21. That is the end of Once and Future number 20. Let me know what you thought. Please subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I will continue to make these review videos. And yeah, other than that, thanks for watching and thanks for listening.